you guys have been around a long time.
Is Brian Miller, Roberts, Wisconsin. The Black Thunder.
Whoa.
All right, everybody, we'll go ahead and get started. This week's Live with Lussetto. We've got a couple of special guests, the famous Todd out here with his light limited super. And then we've got Devin and Jeremy Roff out of, what part of Wisconsin are you guys out of?
Northwestern part by Cumberland, Turtle Lake area. We're northeast of we're northeast of Minneapolis, probably about 70, 80 miles.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're way up.
And well, I didn't quite expect that because now you know, I see some of the guys pulling around. I've kind of figured you to be a little farther east, but these guys campaign the Mohawk Warrior, Alice Chalmers, light limited super, and mainly pull a WTPA. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
You guys pull with any other groups, or mainly with just that? With that?
Mainly just a WTPA. There's just not enough time to go a lot of other places. So,
how many hooks a year do you guys have, or do you hit with a WTPA?
I think this year we had like 12.
Okay.
12 or 13, and they had 2 rainouts, so we ended up I think with like 11-ish, so 10 or 11.
Yeah. And Dave, do you know how many pulls you hit this year? Because that had to be about right in the same neighborhood.
I'm thinking if we include Wisconsin and Arizona and all that, I think I'm 16, 17, something like that right now. I'd have to add them up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and just for everybody, Dave campaigns international light limited super diesel called Deuces Wild. And Dan, you obviously hit way more than that.
Yeah, 24 hooks, I think, for the year.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot.
Oh, very cool. Put that comment on there.
Yes, sir.
We just had a comment from Moose's tractor pulling videos, said they'd love to see you guys hook with ECI. Are you guys really aren't that far probably from some of the ECI hooks, are you?
No, they're in Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and I think they got 1 or 2 in southern Wisconsin, and most of them are in Iowa, and is there some in Missouri? Yeah. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're not very far. We'd have to change a couple things to go pull with them, but
let's kind of get in the weeds where I wasn't ready to go just yet, but there are a few little different rules, I think, and the weight's different, correct?
Yeah. ECI is, I believe they're 65 or 6,700.
They did drop. They dropped to 6,500.
Yep, and then they got a tire limit, 24.5 tire limit, and there's just a few little things we'd have to change. But other than that, I think we'd fit the book.
Well, you sold our tires, so I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah,
it did.
So, well, that does bring that up. Is there Badger State? Now, you guys obviously pull with NTPA most of the time. Badger State is with PPL, and are they competing groups? Are they in the same area of Wisconsin?
No, Badger State's mostly in the southern part of the state, southern part of Wisconsin and northern Illinois, and we're more mid Wisconsin. Um, the more northwestern part. We do have a couple hooks on the east side of Wisconsin too, but for the most part, they don't interfere too much.
That's okay. I need I need a little lesson on this because like Kevin Lynn, you mentioned he'd been around a long time. We'd actually our families pulled against Kevin several times. I mean, back when he was still running that thing as a light super diesel. In fact, I don't know that.
So John and Ryan are the guys that own it. And I think that's I'm not sure how they're related to Kevin. I want to say that they're probably, John might be like a brother or a cousin, but same family. Same family.
He's talking about brute force.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin with the 504 rocket. See that? That tractor's been around forever,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's what I'll bet you. I think I remember him at the Nebraska State Fair, probably in the late 80s, middle 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the $1 million question there.
$1 million question, and I just can't tell you why.
We ain't got enough hours in the show to get there.
Or beer in us, one of the two.
Oh,
there ain't enough hours in the
Maybe.
week to get that one done.
I did. All jokes aside, I told Dan we should light the internet on fire one time and try to get in the weeds on that deal because, my goodness,
all the different organizations have different ways of keeping diesels and alcohols kind of on the same page, and each one seems to work. Like Badger State and ECI use weight, and I don't know if there's a tire difference between the two or not. I'm not sure how they're doing that. I know there used to be. WTPA is running the same weight, and then they're just giving the diesels a little more air. And so I don't know. It seems to work out. And at the end of the day, it comes down to a lot of different things. And it's just that's actually a very good question. And each group kind of has to decide what works for them and go with that.
My own personal opinion is I think, one, I'm a huge proponent of the class. I would love someday to see that class get, and prominent's not the right word, but, honestly, you could see this thing really grow with people in between, but it's like each little region has something a little different, because if you get into the PPL thing, they don't allow the 470 or 466s. But you can run the 410 coolers, which I believe that's the setup that you guys run.
Right.
PPL also runs 6,400 alcohol, 65 diesel. So, there's just a million different ways. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that Zen's there from Southwest Wisconsin. They used to go down and pull a lot with the PPL Western Series, but I have not seen them show up this year.
They've been pulling a lot with ECI and Badger State, mainly Badger State. Really? Yep. They're doing well. Okay. I mean, hanging right with them.
They're hard running tractors.
Yes. They're, I'll say it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Zen's hardly ever miss a setup. It seems like even if they're wrong, they're almost right. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And if one tractor misses, the other one is not going to miss ever.
They get it corrected before the second one shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sometimes it's fun to miss that by a bunch. Puts on a show.
Yeah.
Things can get weird.
We had a guy ask about hooking with a over cubic inch motor, but honestly, that's something. It's really hard to, we try to get them set and try to run the rules, It's a shame we couldn't, I thought I wouldn't mind talking to him offline a little bit and just see what kind of combination of what they're looking at. But that is kind of a tough deal to, I'll say, appreciate the honesty,
Yeah.
Because I know there's people that would just run it and not say anything.
Yeah.
But, so, I'd like to get into a little bit of the history. I absolutely love the history. Where and when did you guys get started pulling?
Oh,
Go for
Dan,
it.
you
Dad.
want to go first, or you want us to go, or
I want you guys. Yeah, absolutely.
oh, us? Oh, okay. I actually, my dad pulled a 101 Massey Harris, with the Chrysler Industrial Engine years ago, and that's actually where I got started. I was 9 years old, and we were at a hook somewhere, and our group had a mod class, and Dad says, "You want to drive?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure, why not?" And actually, I hooked in the mod class, and we ended up getting first place in the mod class with our 101 Massey, and so that's kind of where I started. Dad pulled before that, even in the 70s. He had a 185, and Alice Chalmers would actually sponsor him to go to a lot of pulls and pull, and then later on we had a 180 gasoline 180 naturally aspirated. We had a lot of fun with that, and that ran really good. And then we moved on to a D21 in Central Truck Pullers. They had a limited pro class, which was a lot like your light limited pro 8500 ish with intercoolers. So, and then we moved on to this. So
That was a 540 cubic inch, though, wasn't it?
510, yeah.
510, yeah, so a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be like what Clayton Sweeney's running, isn't it? Similar?
No,
Or are they bigger?
Sweeney
on
runs a 466, but they're 77 or 7800 3x4 slotted Charger. But NTPA does have a hot farm class that is 20.8, 510, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, a 3x3.5 Charger or something. It's kind of a Region 2 class.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then when did you buy the current tractor?
We were pulling with one of the groups, and all of a sudden they decided to make a little rule change, and we didn't really care for it. And we talked to Chris Pickler, and Chris Pickler said, "Hey, we're going to start a light limited superstock class with WTPA, and is that something you'd be interested in?" And I said, "You know what? I have to change everything anyway." So we sold our old D21 chassis, and we talked to Dennis Fry and bought just the rear end from him, and got that up here and kind of went through it and took it apart and put it back together, and that's what we've been running ever since, with a few changes.
Is that still based on the 190 rear end then, or is
yeah, it's just the early series 190. Yep.
Thank you. Okay. And then you chose to go with a little bit newer motor.
Yeah, we nothing against Alice Chalmers, but we looked at their cylinder heads, and there's no way to get air in and out of them things. So we just decided, we looked down the NTPA rule book, and it said, hey, the 40 series is a replacement for the 426. So we started looking at that and went, you know what? That's the ticket right there. Let's go with that. We can try to make it.
It's handy. They had the cubic inch one that would fit right in too.
Yeah, 408. They're not extremely common, but they are out there, and we found one of them and went with that, and worked out good. So
yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good platform. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I may throw this out there, Dave. You might throw your story out there too, because there's a lot of people that don't realize, you've been pulling for quite a while as well.
Yeah, I pulled antiques with my M. The one we had over at Titan Machinery. Actually, I pulled that thing for like 8 years. And then when me and Susie got married, I was going to try to do some farm stock stuff. Tried to buy a 1206 on a sale in Brush, Colorado, and that didn't work out. So she said, well, why don't you just build your 560 into something? And I quit asking questions. I just started building.
Green light was on, so you went.
Yeah, I got the green light. I wasn't asking no more.
Yeah.
And that was this is 7 seasons we've had it now, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun.
Well,
a lot of hooks on it.
We can go back in the way back. Dan's been around pulling for longer, and probably a lot of people realize too. You might tell your little story there, Dan.
Oh,
how old a kid were you?
Oh, the first time I was ever in one, I was probably 4 or 5, but actual going down the track, I never went down the track in a tractor till I was 19, maybe. Drove
Really? Was it farm pulls in your area or?
Yeah. The Bolus, kind of my hometown, and Farwell, St. Paul, a lot of local old pull it down the track and people stand on the sled. There was some of that and stuff like that with farm tractors. Yeah, we had a 4840 that my uncle tuned up and we'd take around. So, but no, I mean, my first getting into pulling on the higher level was running around with James McGuire from Wood River that had that. Was that a light super, right? The 180.
Tim McGuire, James' dad, he campaigned. Well, he had a D21 to start with, and then had the what was it, the Load Runner 4010.
Yep. Well, and then the Load Runner 180.
Yeah, and then he bought Dave Chrisman's Alice out of Indiana, I believe, was a really, I mean, and back in the day was a top-notch light super.
Yep.
And somewhere in there, Tim passed away, and James took it over. Yep. And I'm going to tell you what, that tractor, it started running.
Yep.
And I know some other people had a hand in it, and I think his stepdad had a connection with Jerry Lagarde from back in the old days. And what did he have that tractor? A couple of years that you guys ran around with it?
Yeah, we ran around a couple of years, and then he decided to build that Pro Stock. But he was from Wahoo.
You're leaving off the best part of that. That was the first block separation I ever saw was with the 180.
Well,
in Lincoln, Nebraska State Fair, and whole smokes. Pre-cable days, by the way.
Yeah, we ran it in Pueblo, Colorado as a kind of they were trying to get pulling down there for the state fair or whatever, and paid some of us to come down there. And that was the first time I'd ever run a big pulling tractor. And we heard it down there and brought it home and took it over to Dick Paynes, who's kind of another legend in himself there back in the day. And he overhauled it, and we made 2 passes. Second pass, it lifted the head right through the hood, or the block, I should say. And then Dick we called Dick, and he goes, you know what? I forgot to balance that before we put it together. So it was bound to expire.
I don't think it would have mattered. It was that thing was really, really running. And I think then he went after building that Pro Stock, which never come to fruition, but
yep.
And then you probably took a little hiatus there before getting around with Brad, probably, huh?
Yeah. I hadn't had anything to do with pulling really till Brad. Had a little something to do in 11 and 12, and then I really didn't get back into it hot and heavy till Brad bought his 85s. So,
yep.
So and then I bought mine in 20, I guess it was summer of 20. And
really?
Then,
okay.
Yep. And then got it on the track July 25th last year. So,
and then proceeded to lock up transmission 3 times or 4 times.
Yeah. Took twice to learn to put the right bearing in the rear end, and then we're good to go after that.
It's all forgotten.
Yeah. Yep. So, no, it's been a blast.
Boy, points wise, and I think Jazz had a graphic for Jeremy and Devin. Where did you guys end up in the points? You guys finished pretty well, didn't you, in WTPA? That's what I thought.
Yeah, we finished 5 points ahead in WTPA.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah. We were a little nervous. We thought that Ford was going to catch us. He was.
That's a tough run and son of a gun.
When did that tractor come out?
It came out this spring. Yeah, this spring.
So it was out all season?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Really?
That thing looks like it's going to be something to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Well, like I said, anytime you get a Lynn that builds a light tractor, they're going to be tough. I mean, they know what they're doing, and by golly, they built a dandy. So, we're going to do what we can to try and stick with them. And boy, but they are going to be. And the funny thing in Wisconsin is they're all tough. I mean, every one of them is just top shelf, and anyone can win at any time. And just all you can do is try and average the best, and hopefully you can come out
just
on
keep
top.
swinging. Yeah,
keep swinging. Yeah.
The neatest thing about being up there was I've never seen Dave so nervous in my life, and you probably won't admit it, Dave, but that guy paced around. I mean, he walked 743 miles, I think.
Tried to wear out my shoes the first night.
Yeah. Then you peek around the corner, and then you got Jeremy just as nervous. I never laughed so hard in my life. I enjoyed it.
You can always tell when Dad gets nervous. He starts pacing. All the time.
He did.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Dan was probably a little nervous too, though.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I would love to make fun of y'all, but
It was.
it wouldn't have been any better.
Yeah. So just very tough competition all the way through that class, and like I said, Brian Miller and Ryan Lynn and Johnny Eccles, and I mean, just you can name any one of them guys, and Thompson, Roland Thompson. I mean, them guys all have the potential to win at any given hook, and sometimes it comes down to maybe you got a little better draw and a little better track to pull on earlier or later, and it's just a good time, and like I said, it's very competitive. So.
Yeah, that class was stacked up pretty deep.
Yeah.
Stacked up.
On an average, how many tractors do you have a night on average?
They always average between 8 and 12.
It's always 12. It's very. We hardly ever have just 8 anymore.
Right. It's usually 10 to 12. 12 on a short day, and we get a couple stragglers coming in from Kansas and Nebraska. We 14 or 15. So
yeah.
So that was.
You never know what
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Leave the gate open.
Yeah.
And anything will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say probably after we got teched and we were headed, Dave and I, we didn't talk much. I think we were both nervous about getting into Jim Falls and what it was going to be like, but
once you guys passed the cage inspection, I was happy. I'm like,
we
didn't drive up for nothing.
Yeah. That was something different. But
that was an experience in itself, and learned a lot. I mean, I didn't understand what all went into that tech in those cages, and just visiting with, was it Dale Kwame?
Yeah, Dale Kwame.
Yep.
Very knowledgeable.
He
explained to us that he was one of the 3 that was part of the SFI specifications for the cages that we have today, and I learned a lot. It was a great experience.
Yeah. And it surprised me too that they actually scrape a little metal if you're running chromoly. They scrape a little metal off, and they check the moly content in the steel, and I mean they really check them out and make sure that they're going to be safe if things go bad. So
I do believe they can sonic test them or something when they scratch that off too.
They do sonic test them too.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, because they measure the thickness and the material, right, Dave?
Well, they measured the thickness, and mine being DOM cage, it was 120 or better, so it doesn't have to be chromoly. So they didn't scrape the paint and do the moly test on mine.
That's right.
But if the thickness is below that DOM limit, then it's got to be chromoly. So then they do the test.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
have you guys pretty much hooked? This is for Devin and Jeremy. NTPA the whole time.
Yep, pretty much.
This one, yeah.
We did hook a couple of mid-state hooks here and there if we had a weekend off, a few years ago, but we kind of quit doing that now too. There's just, life gets busy, and that's part of it, and we just want to make sure we make our NTPA hooks. So
the 12 to 15 hooks a year is not a terrible thing. We,
no.
That's kind of a deal that's happening in Outlaw with some of our bigger classes. Is they've got some points classes that are running 30 hooks a year, and it can get to be too much.
Yes.
With all the travel and stuff. But in NTPA, it's amazing how there used to be a big presence. And I might have talked to Devin about this. There was NTPA states in Colorado and Nebraska, Kansas, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, and that stuff's all went away. And it's at some point I'm disappointed in that. I'm not disappointed in our Outlaw deal. I like the direction of where it's going. But we've had this discussion that there really isn't a true national group anymore, that they all run regions, and it's, with that being said, I'm not talking down about NTPA or PPL with that stuff, because by far NTPA has been the lead in the tech department for years, but I do think that's part of the issue we have with our fractured rules, just like talking about every little region having something different, and that's why NTPA was started, is to get rules to where you could go pull all over. And I still think that's something that needs to be worked on in more than just this class.
Yeah, and one thing I have noticed, and our class is a little different. It's more of a regional area class and kind of an entry level. But I think for the most part, NTPA and PPL and Badger State and all these larger organizations, I think like their light pro rules are almost all the same, and their limited pro rules are almost all the same. And so I think for the most part, they're still trying to keep everything on an even keel. They're just, you got to kind of cater to what's in your area too. So,
well, you never want to forget who's at home, because those are the people that keep our association or our groups going day in and day out. It's great to have those guys come up, but your home, that's the meat and potatoes of what's going on.
True. Yes.
Absolutely. And just like what you said, talking about the Badger State guys, I've had several talks with their light limited super guys. It's working for them. Like they said, they don't have any reason to change. And I understand that, because I'm sure they've got decent participation, and there's good guys over there as well.
Absolutely. I've met a lot of them guys, and boy, they're just a good bunch too. And honestly, if we lived 300 miles south of here, I'd probably pull with them all the time. It's more of a location thing. And that's why we pull with who we do. And
Yes.
Yeah.
And you said you do go east some. Like, how far east do you go from where you're at?
We have a hook in Waiwega, which is by Lake Winnebago. It's not that far. It's only a couple 100 miles. The furthest, I do believe the furthest we've ever went for a pull was last weekend. We went to Ohio, and that was that was
by
fun.
a long shot, I think.
I think so. That's about the farthest we've ever gone. So
How many miles was that?
Was that one of the national hooks, or what they deemed
the
national,
Enderley.
where they tried to get everybody together with the larger purse? Or
it's more of it's more. It was called the Enderley. What did they call it?
Enderley pull off, Dad.
Enderley pull off.
And some small little pull we've never heard of. We got to rewind this back. So they had your guys' class at the Enderley pull off.
They did. We got to pull against some guys from Ohio or Michigan. They're from Michigan.
Do you want me to talk about this, Dad?
You should take over. Yeah, you probably know more about than I do.
Well,
so you guys are in the same house right now.
because
go ahead,
we are a region class now. They took the top 2 points earners from Region 2, which would be Ohio, Michigan, that area.
Yeah.
And then they took, because we only had 3 hooks in Region 3, they took the top point earner from Region 3, sent them all to the Enderley, and we pulled against the Rydalls. They run the cock shots down there. So did okay.
That's a pretty cool experience.
It was a great experience. I know I had a lot of fun, Dad.
It is. And you know what? Them buggers really run good too. I mean, I was quite impressed with them. They ran really well, and they sound good, and they made decent passes, and at the end of the day, they pulled it further than we did. So it was kind of fun.
And you'll have to forgive me for I don't quite recognize that name, but is that part of that old like cockshut 40 or E4 or the rounded hood cockshut?
Yep, the chicken coop special was one of them, and then I don't know what they call the other one.
It's just a 570.
Just a 570.
570. Okay.
So and a nice bunch of guys too. I mean, it seems like no matter where you go, you start talking to tractor pullers, and for the most part, they're just a good bunch of guys. So that was a lot of fun going on there. And when we've been
lucky enough to pull all over, and I would guarantee you, I hear a lot of comments about California, this and that, and the state of the affairs. There's great group of guys out there pulling too. And, we've Arizona to Texas to all over. I mean, the pulling and the farm type people are the same. I don't care where you go. It's kind of our kind of people.
Right.
Yep. Well, it's a small community.
Yeah.
Getting
Yes.
smaller.
Yeah, getting smaller every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it is. And it just, that's like Devin, you coming to Hayes, and
Yeah.
I knew your tractor,
Yeah.
and you're like, what? Well,
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that you kind of picked me out of the crowd there. That was
Not every day you're going to see a Mohawk Warrior T-shirt in
no,
Kansas,
not this
Western
part of the
Kansas.
country.
yeah.
Well, and if you wouldn't have wore the shirt, it would have been a little harder. I'm just going to say.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
If you wore the helmet, we'd have known you.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will ask, who was the first to debut the helmet?
It was actually my buddy Daniel. He with the John Deere that pulls in our class. He was the first one that come up with that Mohawk, and I'm like, dude, that is just so stupid. And he's like, whatever, man. And by golly, within a couple of years, we had him in our helmets too, and then he kind of went away from it. So I don't know. We kind of took it over, I guess, and yeah, it was actually him that started it. He Daniel Walk with the Wheelie Big Deer. He had that Mohawk, and then a few years later, it stuck.
And for some reason, it doesn't surprise me that he's the one that came up with it.
No, I'm not surprised either.
Oh, he can be a card, can he? He's,
Yeah.
awesome.
Good bunch of cats.
He's
Yes.
he's a good guy. So, yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, no.
Doug Worth asked a question if any of you guys have ever been in Kentucky or Tennessee.
Not yet.
Would you can you guys make 6,000 pounds, or would it be kind of a stretch with your current setup?
we could. We'd have to put on some lighter tires. We'd probably have to go to a set of ag tires. But I'm pretty sure we can make 6. We just have to change tires.
Yeah.
And then we'd make it.
You probably pulled pretty close to 6,000 in Ridgeland, didn't you?
We had a full stack on her. It's
Really?
It was and every scale's different, every weight is different. It's always 6,250, and sometimes we have 300 pounds on the front, and that's all we get to work with. And the next like down in Ohio, what we have 4.
Yeah, we had like 410 or something like that.
410. I mean, there's 100 pounds difference from one sled to another, and so yeah.
Is that what Kentucky and
Have you
Tennessee
guys
is 6,000 across?
I do believe
Roughly,
most of them are 6,000 down there, because it's
There's some.
to be honest with you, most of them are the same. The weight's probably the biggest issue, or not the issue, but the biggest difference.
Wasn't there some going back and forth between 6 and 62, and they settled on 61 or something in some of them, one of them groups or something out there in Kentucky?
I haven't heard of that. I know.
I remember hearing something about that, but I'm not certain on what it was.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of machines that would not have any issues with 6,000 pounds. We've got an Alice Chalmers where the engine's way out front, and that's a huge benefit. Now, my buddy drives a John Deere, and oh my goodness, 6,000 pounds.
Dan sits on his motor.
What's that?
I said Dan just about sits on his motor.
Yeah, his brake pedals are probably straddling it. I mean, it's like, it's so. I mean, with the John Deere 6,000 would be tough, especially with the diesel stuff that's a little heavier. And so, I mean, I get why they settled in at where they're at, and I understand why some of the groups want 6, and I understand why some of the groups want 65. I mean, I get it. So, like I said before, you just
they've all got absolutely.
Yeah, you just got to work with what's in your area and go at it.
That's just it. Where do you agree to a single weight? Because, like you say, it's working for this outfit.
Absolutely.
Doug, I agree with you, Doug.
4 spinners. Yes. I like that. 4 spinners.
I don't know if you've seen that tractor, but Mark Ulmer's got basically a 9 or 1066 rear end. I'm sure it's 706, but there's really no difference.
Yeah.
With a 4-charger, basically a a little bit of a mild diesel super motor, Sigma 4 chargers and everything, and he carries
Not 900
I
pounds.
can't remember exactly what he carries, but there's at least 1,000 pounds, if not a little more, of weight.
Wow.
It's a
Now,
lot.
We've
it worked.
seen
I'm
some
going
of
to tell you
his,
right now, he's went to some extreme lengths.
Yes, the extreme lengths. That's a good way to put it. Swenby's had a rear end that they pulled light limited with, and that was a 706 rear end. And
That's what's
it went down
it's
south now. The guy that used to, oh crap, I can't remember his name. He's down in that bluegrass area too.
Yep.
Down there now. The 1896, they called it. But anyway, that was Swenby's, and they pulled up here a couple of years, and I think that was some of Mark Ulmer's handiwork as far as making things light, and there was a lot of weight on the front of that one too. I mean, they had a lot of weight to work with, and
That was Swiss cheese, though. There was not a lot left of it.
Swiss cheese because Mark Ulmer's watching, but yeah,
I'm sure he's
Mark's not scared to get a little,
He ain't scared to
out
cut
there,
holes.
man.
So.
take a little metal.
That
out
dude's
if
never
it's
thought in the
necessary.
box his entire life,
So,
He's a character.
Yeah.
wealth of knowledge.
I think he was in Ridgeland
Yes.
too. When Mark Ulmer,
What's that?
Did Mark Ulmer pull in Ridgeland in the light super class?
No, that would have been
Alan.
Alan.
Alan, okay.
Alan Ulmer. Yeah, but it's Mark's nephew.
There you go. Alan Ulmer's old tractor went to Swenby's, and then it got sold to it went to Kentucky.
But I'm not so sure that
Jamie
didn't
Barger.
Swinby's tractor.
Jamie Barger, that's it. Yep.
There you go.
Jamie Barger bought it.
I'm not so sure that Alan didn't end up with a tractor out of Wisconsin. I thought it was Swinby's alcohol
Yeah,
tractor
it's
that had
the old
dog
Hunter
rear end.
end. Yep.
I think they traded. So
I think there was some horse trading that went on there, and players to be named later, and who knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't
So,
Alan's
if you guys
chassis
got
now-
any, what's that?
Isn't Alan's chassis now? That's one of Gary Whiff's old chassis, if I remember right.
I thought I remember him saying something about that when we were talking to him
Yeah.
up there.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
See, I thought that come complete out of Wisconsin, but I might be wrong.
No, he told us at
Something we may have
Ridgeland
to
that
ask
that
the
was
question.
Gary's first component chassis, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
See, because that, and I don't know if you guys know Doc Christensen. I
We
believe
do.
he's a mod builder out of Minnesota. He made a bunch of Ford 5000 rear ends and steel housings. And Esden Lane, in fact, I think Esden might still be running one. And Mark Ulmer's Lost tractor, the Diesel Super's got one, and then Allen's got one as well. So that could be. That was news to me.
Yeah, I've seen them rear ends. They're a fabricated, like you said, and they look like they're working. So yeah.
It's just weird to see a component chassis with 9-bolt wheels.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Well,
You guys have any upgrades or any big plans for next season?
yeah, we need some better tires. One of our competitors put on a set of new tires here about toward the end of the season, and boy, you could just see the difference in his finishes, and so we have to work on. We already ordered them, so they'll be here by spring. We ordered some new tires, and then of course when we do that, we need to get more weight off the tractor on the back so we can put it on the front. So that's going to be another battle for this winter. Start grinding and hacking and trying to get some weight off, and go from there. Probably have to upgrade the turbo again if we have to. If there's a rule change, we're going to have to do that. And other than that, we're just going to fix a few leaks and let it rip.
Okay.
Maybe tighten the bolts down.
Tighten the bolts. Yeah.
Yeah. Got any big plans, Dan?
I'm thinking about going to new tires myself. I was convinced and seen them work well there in Ridgeland and in Jim Falls while we were up there. And I think it hurt me a little bit as well up there. So I'm seriously thinking about tires, doing some different things, and going to change some things in the engine, do a little there. And I need to start hacking a little more weight out myself. So that's about it, really. But it all time and money, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and our short off season is going to be rough too.
And that's what kills me being out here in Wyoming. And it's going to be one of those, how many states is my tractor going to be in again this year? So scattered about, I mean.
Right.
So.
Yep. Have you got any plans for the winter?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd like to get into a new set of tires, but I got to get more weight off. That's the main thing. There's no chromoly on my tractor at all, which hopefully that'll all be redone. All new chassis and cage and wheelie bars. And I think there's some other places I could lose weight to. When we got back from Wisconsin up there was definitely a hurt piston in mine. So it's got 6 stock pistons and some used sleeves. I had to dig pretty deep in the junk pile to come up with enough stuff to put it together to run it Mitchell here last weekend. But I think it's all right. It'll make it through Arizona, I think. Then I've been talking with Andrew. We'll get some better holes in it and get that tightened up. And
you bet.
Yeah, 200 horse and better tires, you know.
Yeah.
In order.
That's all we need right there,
tires.
right?
That's it.
Yes.
Less weight, more power, better tires.
Yeah.
And a big stack of money to pay for it. So
yeah.
We do accept donations.
Yeah.
Called sponsors, Dave.
That's what they call them. Okay. That's why I'm not yet, maybe.
She just walked by.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the permission department there.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
When for you Wisconsin guys, when does your season start?
Usually the weekend after Labor Day.
Birthday, usually.
Or Memorial Day. Yep, the weekend after Memorial Day, and then it goes through basically a week after or 2 weeks after Labor Day, depending on what they've got scheduled.
So you guys can come to Arizona next spring with us then.
That's right.
If we can get out here, well,
Dan, it might be closer for them to go to Florida.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
That's another one I'm going to try and shoot for this year. So
that's a haul.
What's that?
He's trying
that's
to,
a haul.
He's trying to set a record for the most miles traveled, I think.
Yes. It's a bucket list, Paul. I don't know. Yeah. I think if Dave gets his put together, I think we might load up a trailer and go.
We can definitely work on that.
Yep.
Florida.
Yeah, and that's February, correct?
It's the end of January, isn't it?
Right in there, end of January 1st, February somewhere. Because when I was out at Gordyville, the last one at Rantoul there, that Kevin Foltz from Kentucky was trying to get me to go down there, and it just wasn't going to happen that year. But it was just a week or two after Gordyville, if I remember right.
I'll be darned. So it might be into January. Now that Ocala, is that the one you guys are?
Yeah.
Ocala,
yep.
And I think, and for you, I think that's an NTPA poll now as well.
Yep.
Could be.
Yeah, it is. I think as of last year, maybe.
Yeah, last year, because it was a region.
Yeah, I think
4 or 6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever region's down.
I don't
there.
know what regions that are.
Yeah.
I don't either. And is it Will Witt that puts it on? Is that right?
I have no idea.
Will Witt's kind of a camera guy, and he films stuff. And
maybe he's the productions and promotions.
I think he streamed it.
Okay. Yep. But no, I don't know. I'd really, that's kind of a bucket list poll of mine that I'd really like to go to. So.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that would be neat.
Florida's now a member state.
There we go. Moose is on the ball.
Yeah.
He's got the information, man.
He does. That's the go-to right there.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
4-1-1 for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you guys done any indoor polling or no?
No, we get awful busy in the winter. Devin was playing football and wrestling all through high school, and then Sarah, she plays volleyball. does some marching band stuff, and really good at that too. So in the winter, we tend to stay home and watch our kids play their softball and do their wrestling and whatever it is they were doing, and that's important too. So.
Oh, absolutely. Devin, you want to go to Florida with us?
I might go to Arizona. I don't know about Florida though. That's
Come on down there.
Way.
Yeah, you guys would love Arizona. That is a
That's-
good time.
That's a fun time. Yeah.
It's real laid back, and
Yeah.
believe it or not, they've got a pretty darn good track. They had to do, a huge amount of work to get there because they have problems down there I would have never dreamt of, and the biggest thing was getting dirt / clay without rocks in it.
Mm.
And they actually had some company screed the dang dirt and haul it in there. There's stuff we just don't think about.
Yeah.
Right.
But
They
over
got
a
a
few
good one,
years, they beat that track up pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a bite. It's got a hook in it.
Now and then the Chandler one at the drag strip, that gets a little western because it's narrow.
Yeah.
And they literally pulled right beside the racetrack. So it's not ideal, but it was still a pretty good time.
It was.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
You guys were taking pictures with palm trees as backdrops and different stuff. It was just a different world
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah. Don't get
And
to
they're-
take pictures of pulling tractors and palm trees very often. So
No,
maybe we better do
No.
that.
at a drag strip.
At a drag strip. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
are they
We pulled at
talking?
Vandermeer a couple times.
Go
that
ahead,
was
Greg.
that was interesting, right beside the drag strip.
Really?
I remember that.
Yeah.
That
What year
one
was
Dave,
that?
did you ever pull there?
No, that was right when I got my tractor put together, and that was it the weekend before that or whatever. It broke both the bull pinion shafts. Remember that? Twisted both the
shoot.
inside splines off of it. I can't remember where that was, but yeah, it was broke trying to get there. I remember being at that pole, but didn't have the tractor. So, and it's probably a good thing because I remember that being a little narrow. And mine was going.
That
nowhere
track
in
was
the
narrow,
ballpark.
and it actually was pretty good dirt too.
It was really good. Yeah.
Thanks, Venata. Oh boy.
Probably not wrong, Dan.
No, he's probably not.
Oh, I don't feel bad. That's a little more my speed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever it takes.
no, very good. I don't know.
Do you want to go over to Mitchell with
Oh,
me?
we might go over Mitchell next week. I don't know. You guys want to go over Mitchell, but we might.
Does Jazz
Wrap
have
that
any
up next
videos of their tractor running, Greg? Pictures so we
Could
can
you
show
go find
everybody
some
what
videos
we're
like that?
talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a really nice tractor. Runs really good.
Yes. It whooped my butt.
Yeah, mine too.
Just a different situation, guys. If we were all on the same table, you'd be right with us. I almost guarantee it. So. Yeah.
Well,
No,
I'll tell you what. For me, what I was so happy or proud of those guys doing is stepping out of their box and going someplace new. And to be honest with you, if you take where our Heartland class is versus where you guys are in WTPA, you guys have evolved, and your class has been around probably a little longer, more competitive. Now, make no mistake, we're striving to get better. You can see these two guys right here. They're on their way, but all of this stuff sharpens their knife just a little more, to get back into the battle, and they're making a lot of progress. We're pretty proud of them,
They run really well. I mean, they made good hooks in both Jim Falls and Ridgeland. Dan, you kind of got hosed on the draw a little bit, but
You really got hosed on the draw.
Thanks.
but it is what it is. And boy, just good passes both times, and both tractors. And boy, we were just glad to have you guys. That was awesome and a good time. And it's always good to see different guys in different competition and talk to different people from different areas. So
Yeah, it was great to be there.
Yeah.
I know you guys are looking forward to trying to do it again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's on the plans.
Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty intimidated going up there, but it wasn't anything like I thought it would be. We were very welcomed, and I mean,
Oh, yeah.
everybody treated us very well.
Yeah.
That'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Is that a funny deal?
That's a Devin deal, I think.
That was me. I am the social media manager.
Did you start that trend with beer money starting to, they start getting everybody rolling out of the trade?
I just thought it was cool because I've seen it from Beer Money. That's why I did it.
Devin, you're supposed to say you started it.
Oh yeah, it was totally. I did it. Yep, you're right. It was me. Yep.
I don't know if you've seen the latest one, but somebody on the Farm Stock page or something on Facebook had somebody getting rolled off an open trailer, the gooseneck behind a pickup. I about died laughing. It's like,
I can do it
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I hope, Dave and Dan and I both talked. I hope we can get a few more people to come up because I think that'd be a blast to get up there and,
It would. And
just make
it would. And you'd
What's
be
that?
more than welcome to come up, just like I know we'd be more than welcome to come down there. And, I mean,
yeah.
it's try and hit a doubleheader weekend. That's probably going to be the best bang for the buck. And
Yes.
a couple of them.
Well, and that's guy that's got Johnny's deer or whatever, wasn't there? We were talking, we could have hit 4 pulls in 2 days or 3 pulls in 2 days or something and been within 45 miles.
Yep. A couple different organizations, and you can hit quite a few sometimes.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
We got to plan better,
Might be a
Dave.
little more ambitious.
No
I
kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think mine would have made 4 hooks in those 2 days. Though.
Yeah.
I think it's lucky to made the 2 that it made.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. You had a mess there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to say I don't still have a mess, but it runs.
It got back out and made the last hook, right?
Yeah, and it's got to survive the 2 in Arizona, and we'll be happy with that. But see, we had to dig pretty deep in the used parts pile to find stuff to put it back together. But
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, and I know Dwayne, if he gets his mini mow put together, he would like to go up with
He'd
us
be
next
down to go
summer.
with
And you'd like to come up too, Greg. And
Oh, yeah.
it'd be nice to get 4 or 6 of us to load up a couple trucks and come up there.
That would be
it's-
awesome.
That would be
It is. It's a blast. I still talk about it. And like I say, you guys, I mean, I had some safety issues or some equipment missing. And I mean, you guys were going to run home that night and make me what I needed and stuff like that. I mean, you guys went above and beyond what you had to for us. And I mean, it was great. You guys are class act. Everybody in your association is,
never had to ask for anybody to pull us. They just, you guys helped line that up. Jonathan having his own truck to pull later on in the evening, sat there and made sure we got through the scales and everything staged and back and everything every time. Big thanks to them.
Yeah.
Big thanks to them.
Yeah, and I mean, other than them trying to steal our weights for payment, last night. I mean,
That was funny. And they were that morning when I went out, they did actually haul them down here from Baronet. They were sitting right in front of the shop door. So,
and you guys brought them 40 miles down to us,
Yeah.
and that was something you guys didn't have to do.
Oh, it's way easier to drive a pickup than that truck and trailer. So
Yeah,
I was happy to do it.
the one thing I was disappointed in was I didn't get to go try. Who's got the John Deere? John
Eccles.
Eccles. I didn't get to try his brandy.
Oh, yeah, he's usually got some really good stuff.
And the gals, when we checked in, told us we had to go over there after the pull and try it, and I didn't make it.
Didn't happen.
Blackberry brandy is smooth. It's like, it's a little bit like Kool-Aid.
There's my fruity drink,
There
banana.
you go. You just on your umbrella and you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did have Susie's brownies from 700 or 800 miles away. So
Yeah.
Very good too. Yeah. Yeah.
can't have a night of pulling without some brownies or whatever.
Yep.
The Ridgeland's one of our best hooks there. There's a lot of the track's very consistent for everybody, and there's just a lot of fans and
Yeah, people show up for
a
that.
lot of good support, and that pole's been there a very long time. I'd say, oh boy, Devin.
God, what did they say?
We're 57 years or 53 years or something.
Yeah.
7, I think.
Very long time.
Oh,
I remember going there when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old and seeing some of the old timers pulling back then, and that was really cool.
Yeah, and somebody said that's a town of 200 people, and they get a crowd of between 5,000 and 6,000 people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I believe it. There was people everywhere.
And
Like
that
a
is,
neat facility. Too.
oh, that is the neatest facility. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably 30 acres to park in, and then they got this hill
Oh,
that's 300 foot tall, and it's unreal.
Yeah.
you know, a few years ago they ran out of room and had to actually build grandstands on top of the hill.
It seems to make
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty neat.
The one NTPA tech guy, he had to tell us that there might be a pause in the show due to somebody getting drunk and rolling down the hill.
It happens every once in a while, yeah. Yeah.
But we never got to witness that. But
No.
I did witness some drunk people in the crowd.
There was.
It is Wisconsin.
Hell yeah. I'm still eating cheese from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, I've got to run. I'm going to let you guys finish up. But thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. And hopefully we can see you down the road. You know, like I said, if we can make it work, I know we're going to try to get one tractor, and I know these two guys are pretty dead set on making it back. So, and Devin, don't be a stranger down in Kansas.
We would love to. I'd love to come down, but like I said, we got to get the kids through school, and then maybe we can go do some of this stuff, you know, further away.
Doesn't sound like it's far away though.
Well, no, that's Sarah's
A couple years.
so it's going to take a little bit, but
We'll still be pulling down there.
we'd
Once
like
I'm
to,
out of college, the Warriors going on tour. So.
right. We'd like to go. To Chicago. You know, we'd like to go to
That
Chicago.
sounded like I'm leaving Dad at home.
Maybe, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we'd like to get to ship.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll
Thanks,
see you later.
Easy, Greg.
I gotta go, man. I'm running late.
For bowling. Yeah. So,
I guarantee you, me and Dan are down to jump the truck and trailer, and load up, go about anywhere.
yeah. Yep.
If there's good pulling, good people, we're going. We're there.
Yeah. And for us to, you know, travel and pull with other organizations, I mean, that's why we built the things, you know, is to go have fun. So, I can see one or two more trips up there next summer. Like I say, Dwayne, if he gets his mini mow, he wants to go and possibly bring one of his other pulling vehicles along. So, anybody that's ever wanted to go to a pull and hook with a great organization, I mean, get up there. It's awesome. Well organized. We were never confused about what was going on at any time.
Nope.
And the tech officials, the sign-in crew, I mean, everybody was extremely helpful and courteous. I mean, just had a blast. And the media exposure that your guys' organization and your production crews and media crews up there that have given us has been unreal. I mean, God dang, for us being out in the middle of nowhere, really, in a smaller organization, has done a lot to help us, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about your guys' Facebook, Dave, but I mean,
It's
unreal.
There was a lot of chitter chatter because you guys were coming out there. There's a lot of people interested in that. So
There was people talking about that I didn't even know who they were or whatever. Didn't think we were on anybody's radar or whatever. Then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I made sure everybody kind of knew. So,
Well, you did a good job.
Yeah.
Well, they had one guy asked if they had pro stock trucks. WTPA does run. What is that? Super stock?
it's super stock 4-wheel drive. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a street tire class. I don't know all the details, but it's a street tire class with, I think it's 540, 530. You gotta look it up. I just don't know for sure, but
We're tractor guys, man. We're not supposed to know.
yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, there are a lot of pickups. Like Jim Falls, we were the only tractor class. That's a pickup pool. There's four or five different classes of pickups, and so yeah.
And Ridgeland Falls was kind of the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they even run? They ran diesel trucks. I think was the only
2.6 pickups
truck
last class that night.
2.6, yeah.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So,
Yep. And a semi.
That's
And a
right.
semi, yeah.
Yep. Lonnie Sailor, I think. Yep.
Now
There it is. 530. Oh
Yep,
wait,
there
no,
you
530. That's
There's Moose again.
530. that might be right. That might be right.
See,
Yeah.
we don't have to do anything.
You know, he's got
Just
it
ask the
figured out.
question. He's
where's
on.
this guy been all year? I
Yeah.
check this cat out. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
But
Seems to.
yeah. Jeff Lane's just but yeah, Jeff, buy that light limit super that's for sale today.
Absolutely. Go get her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Is
wouldn't
that
know what
the black one, the bandit or whatever?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know what to do with wheels off the ground.
That's just when it's getting fun,
Yeah.
especially when it's all four of them.
Yeah, did that once this year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
well, I guess you guys got anything you want to
No,
talk
I
about?
just, everybody we talk to in tractor pulling, I mean, we've always had a good time, and most of the guys we meet are just great. And even when we went to Ohio, I mean, them guys were great too, and just a nice bunch of guys. And like the guys we were talking earlier, the $1 million question about rules. Don't get too caught up in it. You just kind of work with what you got and work in your area, and push for what you want. But when the rules meeting is done, go after it. And I mean, I understand, and some certain fuels think they're at a disadvantage, and some think they're in it, and I get it. I mean, there are days when certain fuels are at a disadvantage compared to others, and so whatever your group is doing and whatever is working, and like when your meeting comes up, just push for what you think, or maybe not push a certain agenda, but hey, these guys are a little ahead of us, or these guys are a little behind us. Kind of try and work with the guys in the class and try and make things work. It's a great class, and I'd like to see it stick around, and hopefully through the years we can keep it together.
Yeah. That's just it. Implement rules or suggest rules that you think is going to help your organization as a whole, or the class as a whole, not just to push your own agenda through, because
Correct.
Yeah. Got to be good for the whole class.
Yeah.
Got to be good for the whole group.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that we suggested this year with our one of our suggestions for the board at NTPA was we talked about the mapping thing, and it's just too hard to tech. And so at least this way, if we run the 3.4 and smooth bore, and then the alcohols run the 3.0 smooth bore, at least that way we all get the same advantages. If there's an update in wheel design or whatever, it's going to be the same for both.
It's going to help both.
And, and the teching is going to be so much easier. Because I mean, it seems like every time on a diesel charger, every time they come up with 50 or 75 horse, all they did is change mapping a little bit. So we need to get away from that. That 50 or 75 horse every year, that's just not good for the class. So
no.
When you have to have the newest, best stuff every time, people either keep up or they fall behind, and most of the time they're going to fall behind. So,
and that's the one bad thing about a limited class,
right?
You're going to spend a lot of money for that little bit.
If it costs you $5,000 for 10, you got to spend it, or you're not going to keep up, and it's too bad. Yeah, I wish as a whole that we could come up with a set of rules that we could all agree with all the way across, from one side of the country to the next. But it's something that's never going to happen. But it'd be great if it did, because I mean, it just opens up the options for everyone to pull in different organizations, do destination pulls like Dave and I did.
Yep.
You guys are running bigger charger setups and running more horsepower than we are, but
Yep.
God damn, it was fun going out there. Get away from home, get out of the norm.
Yeah.
Compete against some people you've never, lined up against. And man, whether you're first or last, I had a blast. And I think it's that way for anybody that's in tractor pulling, any kind of motorsport, is to be able to go and see different things and meet different people and totally different environments. Like I say, we all need to lock each other in. Well, it'd take probably an arena, but lock us all in there till one guy's left standing and we got it figured out. But sooner or later, I think people don't realize how much it benefits an organization if we can all have a set of rules. And there might be this town 20 miles away that usually gets 4 or 5 tractors, but there's 20 tractors in that area that pull with a different organization due to the rules that could show up to that place, so you can go from having 8 hooks to having your 12 or 15 hooks, at one pull, and it benefits everybody. But
Rydell's talked about that. The guys with the cock shots in Ohio, they had talked about that. I said, man, you guys got a lot of region hooks. Why is that? He goes, well, we can't get any interstate hooks. He said, we get 3, 4, 5 tractors at a state hook, but if they're region, then they get a dozen or whatever, and they have a good class. So that's why they have so many region, but in their different states in that region, they can't get very many. So that was one of the things they talked about is, getting more guys there and trying to make that a little tougher deal. So,
yeah. I mean, what do you think, Dave? I mean,
if the rules could ever match up all over, that'd be monumental. And I think it could be done. Look at the 85 light limited pro class. That's pretty standard. Most places seems like, 2-wheel drive truck.
It's a big class no matter where you go.
Yeah.
The two-wheel drives are the same no matter where you go.
Any place you go, they're all the same. It can be done.
Yep.
Just everybody's got to commit to making it happen and think about what's good for the class, not good for each individual puller.
Yeah, and good for the sport. Right now, I think tractor pulling's on a high right now. I mean, we're getting more pulls booked than normal, and take advantage of it. All organizations take advantage of it. I don't know, have you guys picked up many hooks up in your area? I mean, does it seem to be the trend of more pulls, or is everything? Of course, you guys have pulls. You can throw a rock and hit 10 pulls, but I mean, do you see new towns having pulls or whatever?
Not really. I mean, every once in a while you'll have a new one somewhere. A lot of our local, like our entry level brush pulling stuff is kind of really struggling, I think. It's most of the guys here that are serious about tractor pulling are pulling with WTPA, or a few of them pull in mid-state. But for the most part, we're not seeing a lot of change in where we're going to hook.
Well, that's because the pulls that we have, I mean, like Ridgeland, WTPA has been going to the same Ridgeland pull the same weekend for the last 57 years.
Right.
I mean, we have all of these established pulls that bring in so many fans. By the way, the fan turnout since post-COVID, has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I thank every fan out there for that, because it's been awesome. But we just go to all of these established pulls, and once you get those 10 or 12 established ones done, there's not really a lot of time for any other ones. So
Yep.
Well,
I think COVID changed a lot too. Because in 20, there was a lot of people went pulling a lot of places they wouldn't normally have.
right.
Yeah.
That's when you started seeing Esden show up to Wisner, Esden Lane,
Yep.
Where did we go that time, Dan? Elgin, Nebraska?
Yeah.
The sprinkler and pulled in a hayfield,
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Yeah. I think Brad and I that summer with his 85, we put 15 or 16,000 miles on that summer, just so we, to go pulling. I mean, we ended up in Illinois twice. We
wanted to make hooks, you had to travel.
Yeah. I was wore out.
We did a lot of running that year. We still made, even with being COVID and half of them shut down or whatever, I think we still made 18, 20 hooks.
Yeah.
And, but we had to do some driving to get to them.
Oh, yeah. The ones that had pulls, phenomenal.
Oh,
the crowd, it was full. Crowds were there, but everybody was looking for something to do then. It didn't matter what it was. They wanted out of the house.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped our sport a lot and built the fan base that we have now.
For sure. Yeah.
So
remember at Cowtown Showdown, they said that was the only live sporting event in the whole country. Was that
in the country or the world?
At least in the country, might have been the world.
Yeah, I was trying to think. We were the only sporting event going on then. Yeah.
I know at least in the country.
Yeah. Yep. But that was an eerie deal. But man, I had a blast. I think everybody did.
That was
That's
fun.
year they pulled in an empty stadium.
Yeah, it was just full of pullers.
Just pullers, yeah. Had to stay under 950 or something like that to make sure we was under the 1,000 limit. Guy at the door clicking, checking, putting marks in hands. Everybody coming in and out. Wristbands. Yeah.
That's fun.
It was something. Every day, every morning, show back up to the pit from the motel. And, well, they might not let us in today. Well, here we go. And the next thing you know, well, all right, that was weird.
Yeah,
but fun.
Yeah, it was. That's a pull you guys need to come down to in March. It's an indoor, but Brian Miller, he's been down there. I think he's won it the last 2 days.
Yeah, he won the last 2 of them.
You got a tiger there or what?
Yeah.
But they get that pull going again. That's a great pull.
That's a really nice facility.
Yeah. It is. And a good time of year to have it. You're not freezing your ass off. And
Devin stopped in there once on the way home from college.
Yep.
Oh, really?
He was on his way home and he stopped in and watched Friday night session or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really nice facility for sure.
It is really nice.
Yep, it is.
One of the nicest places you're probably going to go pull, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yep.
Just make sure you got extra axle housings.
Only you.
Yeah. No, there were several of us broke there. There was a line started back there.
Yeah, there was. How do we make a constant set turbo rolls?
The $1 million question right there. Like, that's where you get into that. Well, you do what the guys in your area are doing. And, we run diesel, but, I'm a spark plug guy from way back. So, at the end of the day, if I look at the alcohol rules and go, I kind of like that better, I might do that. That don't try to change a set of rules for your machine, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If you think the grass is really green on the other side, then go to the other side. The gate's open, man.
Yeah.
So it's I'm a big fan of that, and I really like I really like the alcohol tractors too. I don't know if they have an advantage or a disadvantage right now. I guess it's hard to tell. It depends on where you go, I suppose. So,
and the 2 fuels is one of the things that makes the class what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Lightweight,
it is. And it's the good and the bad of the class. If you do your chemistry on methanol and you do your chemistry on diesel fuel, and pretty soon it doesn't take very long to realize why alcohol tractors make more power with less air. But what is that? Hey, sorry, Devin. No.
I hear about it all the time.
Yeah, but you can look at the chemistry of it, and it's like, okay, I see why, but how much? And I'm not smart enough to tell you that. It's just trial and error till you got a good combination where you get different fuels winning all the time, and that's all you can do.
So, and it's tough too, because you'll get some alcohol tractors that run really good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's they got to cut them back. But then there's the other side of it too. And it's the same with diesels. There's some diesels that run really good. Oh,
Hey,
no,
I
that's
like
much
that.
better
Just
cut them
have
back.
one of each. There you go. Hey,
Well,
just have
win-win.
one of each. Win-win.
And there's the man, the myth, the legend, right there.
Yeah.
There you go, the
Yep.
man himself, right there.
Yep.
So,
And he does it.
I
Yep.
like the sound of that.
Yeah. Win-win's kind of typically the thing too for Marine. Win with one, second with the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
run.
and that alcohol, I mean, like Dave and I have talked, I mean, it intrigues me. I know nothing. I'm not a spark plug guy. I'm a diesel dummy. I mean, so, but
I
Yeah.
like the methanol too. I look at some of the combinations that a guy could do with certain things, and it's like, wow, I really like that too. But then again, if I thought it was so great, I'd probably have one already. So I don't know. I just don't know. So
There probably ain't no right answer.
no.
no. And with time, alcohol's had the advantage. Now it seems like that tide switched a little bit, and the technology with the diesels come around now, and the diesels are pretty tough to beat right now, especially in that light limited super class. It seems like, so.
But they did it in Ohio.
Yep.
There's always them.
Cummins tractors either.
Well,
Yeah,
and,
they're
and-
always there.
and Devin said it was the driver's fault. So,
I did not. I couldn't have done any better. So
but
no, hats off to them guys. They beat us fair and square, and them tractors really run good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's impressive to see. Well, it's really impressive to see a cockshot 40 run like that. It's like, wow. So pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Yep.
stuff.
So at that Enderley, I've never watched. Don't know anything about it as far as I've never watched any footage from the Enderley, but I mean, pretty prestigious deal as far as their seance and everything that goes on.
Yeah, it's like an all-star game. It's just really neat. Win, lose, or draw, the whole point that you were there and had the experience, and that's kind of the whole point. Just go out there and try and lay down a good pass. And it's like an all-star football game, or an all-star baseball game. The best guys come together, and it was just an honor and a blast.
Yep.
So,
I got a guy here. Chris has got a question. Are the Wisconsin tractors mostly 410 with coolers?
no, I think we're the only one.
besides,
really?
well, Badger State obviously has a ton of them, but
they're all 410 cooler,
Mhm.
Right.
but I think in WTPA we're the only one. Maybe who are them guys from over east here? The Red Dog, that might have been a 410 cooler tractor too, but most of them are 470 diesels without coolers.
Mm. And you guys run a 3-inch slotted charger with a 16 mil pump, is that correct?
Yeah, we'll give away our secrets, but yeah, we do. So,
Well, isn't that kind of the rules? I mean, you can go up to that.
There's no they put a limit on the pump casing, but they don't put a limit on the plunger size, and so
sorry.
Oh, really?
so we kind of go as far as we can without taking too much power to turn the pump, and
Mm-hmm.
I might have given away that trade secret, but
I thought that was what everybody was running. My bad.
No, I think they are. I think most of them are. I think the one guy actually ran a 17.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how you get all that in there, but they do. So, yeah. 310 allowed coolers. Does WTPA allow 470? Yeah, WTPA does allow the 470, and the 315 diesels are allowed coolers with the twins. Then there's another provision in there where 360s can run twins without a cooler. I'd have to look through the book again to see exactly what all the combinations are, but see how that all pans out.
In the only rule change proposal, and that's with NTPA or WTPA?
That was with NTPA in general. So anything when you become a member state or join your region, So when you're like, we were just a separate state class that was separate from from NTPA totally. When we decided to go with that, then basically NTPA dictates what the rules are, and we make suggestions to them, what we see and what we think, and then they change the rules, at the main headquarters. So we really don't have any say in what our rules are, other than suggest to them, hey, this is what we're seeing. This is what we'd like to see. So yeah, that's kind of a dictatorship is sometimes a good thing. So,
but if it take, never mind. I'm not even going to say it, Dave. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it. But yeah, and that's kind of the way we are too, as far as our organization goes. On the national level, I think they vote, don't they, on the national level with Outlaws, Dave? I can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The class members get to vote for new rules, I think. But on our Heartland side, it's a suggestion deal, and higher ups get to make those choices. So, in fact, anybody with Heartland Division, we have to get our suggestions in for our classes by October 16th or 17th, I believe. Look on the Heartland page. If you do have any questions or want to change some rules or have some suggestions, make sure you get them typed up and get them sent in, so we can hopefully look at them and discuss them during our banquet in November. But yeah, there's some rules I wish I would like to see change in our class too. But yeah, I'd love to step up and be more competitive with you guys as far as our rules go. That way we can travel and compete.
That would be one more group all on the same page.
Yeah.
That's one step closer.
Yep.
It's still a long way to go, but it's one step.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it's going to take. You just can't take a leap at it all, let's pick at it a little bit at a time and maybe we can all get there.
Right.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. You guys got anything else you'd like to talk about?
We had a good time with you guys, and we had a blast in Ohio at the Enderley, and just remember when you're playing the game to play it for the game's sake. So
yeah. Is there anybody you guys would like to thank for your season, in any sponsors or anything?
I just want to thank my wife. She puts up with a lot of crap so I can do this, and the family's supportive. Devin helps out, and my buddies, and just anybody involved. It's kind of I hate to say a team effort, but it is kind of a team effort. Not just for the tractor, but for the time and everything. So
yep.
Ryan Shug was pit crew all year long this year.
Ryan was helping out all year. Yeah.
Yep.
So
good dude.
Yeah, good guy.
And you tell him I never seen any pictures with him wearing my hat at the Enderley like you promised. So
he had your can cooler. I saw that. I saw the can there. So,
yeah. No. So do you? The question that we need to ask.
I was going to see if you was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay. Any tractor, any track, what and where would it be?
Loretta.
I know my answer, so I have two of them, I guess.
And you don't have
Devin,
to
I'll
pay
let
for
you
it
run
if
my
it breaks
tractor
or anything like that.
Hey man, you give me the word. Now I'm going to run that thing.
I would actually like to, if I can pick one, I would like to run a multiple engine mod, like an open mod 5-engine. I think that would be the neat. Some guys, tractor guys, sometimes don't like mods, and you know what? I like them. I don't care what anybody says. I think that is the coolest thing, and just because I can't afford it doesn't mean it's not cool. And I think that's just the neatest thing ever. It's like, how can you not like that much power? So if I could do anything, it would be, I don't know which one. Probably don't care as long as it's one of the 5 best ones.
War wagon, he wanted all.
Where it'd be just anywhere where a guy can get a hold of the track.
Oh, come on. You got to have a dream track you want to hook at. You're not getting off that easy.
I maybe Toma. I've never pulled in Toma. Right next to home, and I've never pulled there. So maybe Toma would be one place where I would really just like to go.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Devin, how about you?
I would want to drive either Silver Bullet or the Youngblood Pro Stock, either at Bowling Green or National Farm Machinery Show.
Yeah.
Oh, them are good ones too.
Yeah.
I know.
Dave? How about you, Dave?
I would be down to jump on any light super stock anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
But just because I like some of the crazy stuff, something like the weapon at Gordyville or something would be a wild time.
Yep.
That could get crazy.
Well, Mark, you're watching.
Yeah.
There's two guys here that want to run a light super.
Yep.
But great places. And I think did Mark pull the weapon at Gordyville one year? I want to say he did, but I could be wrong.
Would have been not the 2 years that I was there, I don't think.
No, I want to say
I went
this
out there in
13, maybe 14.
I think we went out there in 16 just to watch, and they had light supers, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't. I remember they had a few light supers.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any in, 20 when we were out there? The last one in Rantoul?
No. But I think Mark pulled the weapon at Cowtown.
Oh, did he?
I think he had it. I think he had it there, if I remember right. Yep.
I remember the videos of Bryce Terry's D21 going down the track at the first Cowtown and ended up on top of the sand pile.
Yeah.
That was a big run.
Yep. So, I guess we can probably call it a night. Really appreciate everything you guys did for us, and had a blast, and really appreciate you guys coming on.
Man, thanks for having us, and thanks for having us on the show, and thanks for coming. And we had a good time too. It was nice to meet different people. So.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do it again. See, Mark.
Thanks for taking Devin under your wing while he's not home.
You know what? It was a challenge, but we all got through it together.
Oh yeah, I'm real stressful.
Don't put food in front of the kid because he'll eat it.
I will.
Yeah. My kid, he can't help himself.
So it was great meeting you, because if you wouldn't have showed up, Devin, we wouldn't have got to do what we did this summer. Man, like I say, I can't say enough that we didn't have a blast. So
Awesome.
And made some
flyer from the Senex station.
Yes, you did.
On Monday morning.
There you go. Yeah.
I said to get a cold drink. I'm like, hey, that thing was yesterday. Can I have that? He's a little weird, but I guess that'd be okay since it's over. All right, I'm taking it anyway. So.
Fine anyway.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he wasn't going to catch me at that point.
No. Yeah, and like I say, made some damn good friends, whether you guys like it or not. So
yes.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to say is, if nothing else come from that trip, the Poland family got a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Farther away, but a little bigger. That's always good.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll give you our address so you can send us gifts for Christmas. We do like those.
Yeah.
Get you some cheese or beer.
Hopefully we have some
Spotted
t-shirts.
cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, spotted cow. By the way, my brother loves the stuff.
Yeah.
And Kaylee loves the cheese from Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
She ate it all the way home.
Oh, yeah. And we're working on boxing up some hats to send up there. So
Awesome.
I'm gonna send you guys some, and Wilkes, the Wheelie Big Deer guys.
Yep. Yep.
So.
Yep. Kaylee, she doesn't like cheese
At all.
Yeah, zero. So, but
Yep.
Awesome.
No, good times.
yeah,
Yes.
Very good times.
We'll let you guys get to your normal life.
All
Devin,
right.
good seeing you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. And
See you guys later.
all right.
We'll
Thanks,
do it
guys.
again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
All right.
All right.
So we
Hey,
did